So let's stay with Senator John Matheson and Assembly members George Geist and Jenny Weber. They cut taxes, cut spending, and they're working for jobs.
While you're finishing the best apple pie in town, I'd like to introduce today's speaker. Ex-high school basketball star turned local banker, William Hoops Hooper.
Thank you for that warm greeting. Today I'm going to talk about a subject important to us all. Retirement, and how we can prepare for it.
In the communities where we work and live, we've learned that banking is all about one thing: commitment.
Your Better Buick dealers would like to point out the pluses and minuses of buying the new value-priced Regal. First, the pluses. We've added an airbag, plus anti-lock brakes, plus our biggest V6, plus power everything, even remote keyless entry. And the minuses? How about minus $2,492? A factory price rollback of almost $2,500. More features, less money. That makes Regal pretty hard to equal. See one today at your local Better Buick dealer.
He's the man accused of breaking up Bert and Lonnie on hard copy. Hello and welcome to A Current Affair Extra. I'm Terry Willesee. Well, as you can see, we're making a few changes around here. What we're doing is building a brand new set. We're going to have a whole new look. That's because we have some special things happening in the coming months. So we thought this week we'd take a look at people and how their lives have changed, sometimes in very dramatic ways.
10 seconds. Here we go. 4 to 1. Start your move 1. Fade out music. Move 3.
Back up, thanks.
Oh, we're heading back now.
The loved ones and friends of Kelly O'Sullivan were suddenly faced with her mysterious disappearance.
She was the one person that, if you had a choice to know in your life, she would be the one.
Together, they mounted an emotional and desperate search that ended in a way they never dared to expect.
I survived for a whole 12 days and it couldn't happen. And finally out that it did happen.
This doctor offered hope to people who suffered from a painful jaw disorder.
You think if you had a gun, you'd blow your brains out.
But when his miracle cure didn't work, he left the country.
Well, I think Dr. Holmes ought to be put in jail. That's my personal feeling.
You're out of order. I'll call the police.
And claimed that some of the most violent criminals in the world are being tamed by ancient medicine.
I've never been able to be this calm.
Plus, we'll show you the tricks of the trade with the slickest card sharks in Las Vegas.
It's basically a perpetual cat and mouse game.
And see the latest form of mail-order catalogs.
This was a new way for me to get out and actually find someone who really wanted a relationship.
Our first story is about a woman who changed her life to ensure a safer future. Kelly O'Sullivan didn't think life in the big city of Los Angeles was the right place to raise her little boy, so she headed for the suburbs. But as it turned out, Kelly O'Sullivan wound up in the right place, but at the wrong time.
It wasn't supposed to happen here.
I have a four-wheel drive team in there coordinating by radio.
But somehow it did, in the most unlikely place, and to the most unlikely person.
She was the one person that, if you had a choice to know in your life, she would be the one. Kelly was probably one of the brightest young women I've ever known in my life.
This is the kind of thing that we read about happening to other people.
But this didn't involve other people. It involved 34-year-old Kelly O'Sullivan, a nurse, a loving mother, and a woman who tragically just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
This could have been you. This could have been your girlfriend. This could have been your daughter. This could have been your wife. I mean, what's wrong with this world? This could happen.
And what happened is something we all fear. Kelly O'Sullivan mysteriously disappeared one day last month, Shortly after she left her post at this well-known hospital in tranquil Woodland Hills, California, a suburb of Los Angeles, Kelly was on her way to pick up her son from school. Liz Favreau and Laura Lazinga work with Kelly and were on duty that fateful day.
This is a woman who the world literally revolved around her son. And something tragic had to have happened for her not to be there for him and to not make arrangements. I was devastated. I was very devastated.
So I had to walk Kelly out the same day at 12:30. I was kidding and joking with Kelly on the way to the elevator.
But this was no joke. According to local investigators, while Kelly was leaving work, a distraught 19-year-old by the name of Mark Scott Saracen had just kidnapped his ex-girlfriend Stephanie Campbell at gunpoint and was on a mission, hell-bent on getting to Reno, Nevada, no matter what the cost. But first cops say Saracen needed a getaway car, so he allegedly kidnapped Kelly O'Sullivan and escaped in her Ford Explorer. Yet for Saracen, the scheme soon started to unravel.
Stephanie Campbell was able to break free from Mark Saracen and run to a security guard at Circus Casino in Reno, Nevada. Reno Police Department then was able to locate Mark Scott Saracen at the casino at Circus, and when they approached him, he pulled out a gun on him.
But despite the young man's weapon, cops were able to tackle Saracen and take him into custody. And when they checked the casino's parking lot, they soon found Kelly O'Sullivan's car. But there was no sign of Kelly. And when police questioned Saracen, he said he'd never seen the woman, but simply found her vehicle with the keys inside outside a pet store on the outskirts of Los Angeles. Meanwhile, in California, news of Kelly's disappearance spread like wildfire. Kelly's ex-husband, Cliff O'Sullivan, and Kelly's boyfriend, Kevin White, bonded together along with Kelly's mother, Charlene Cunningham, and remarkably organized a massive search, all for the love of Kelly.
There's 70-something volunteers out now on horseback, on foot, on bikes, on ATVs, on motorcycles.
We are all very much focused on this. We're going to find Kelly. And that's our main purpose. And as your mother, I'm not going to fall apart until this is done.
Within days, the FBI and the Marines were called in. Hundreds of volunteers, many of whom had never met Kelly, combed almost 200 square miles of thick brush and twisted back roads in the Santa Monica Mountains, in nearly 90-degree heat, on foot and in the air. But still, no Kelly.
Ever since I've been out here and definitely looking as hard as we can. We've been up in canyons, we've been down in riverbeds, we've been everywhere, and we just want to find Kelly. It's a hard thing to stop looking. Eventually, we'll have to stop.
Frustration led to desperation. A psychic was brought in.
The one vision I got was from her viewpoint, and it's looking, and she's inside. It's bright and it's light, and she is bound.
12 days later, Kelly's mother and the two men who tirelessly tried to locate the woman they loved got news of Kelly's whereabouts, but it wasn't the news they had hoped for. Kelly's body was found by two volunteers in a remote location just over the Hollywood Hills.
I knew in my heart she was gone, but I couldn't feel her anymore.
I've survived for a whole 12 days, and this couldn't happen. And now I'm finding out that it did happen.
And while Mark Scott Saracen has admitted to stealing Kelly's car, he's denied any involvement with her death. Yet Saracen is now charged with kidnapping and first-degree murder and is awaiting his day in court. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. But of course, that won't bring back Kelly, and it won't take away the pain of Kelly's family and her many friends.
Walk the line that lies before you. We are marching in the wind.
Kelly O'Sullivan's life and her death touched all of our hearts and our souls. Let it be said that the world needs more Kellys. It's difficult, however, to give reason to such random acts of violence. But in Kelly O'Sullivan's case, maybe God was in need of another angel.
I was very, very sad to lose my friend. I talked to her every day. And I think she's like my guardian angel.
life begins again.
Kelly O'Sullivan, obviously quite a lady who, as you can see, made quite an impact in her 34 short years. And we'll let you know what happens when Mark Saracen goes to trial. We've got a story coming up that may just have you thinking twice about psychotherapy. Now, you may not know much about psychotherapy, but as far as Lucy Abney's concerned, she wishes she'd never heard of it.
There were memories of rituals where babies were sacrificed.
And we'll tell you how many people who thought they found a miracle cure for a common jaw ailment only found more pain and torment from an untested product.
I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't do anything.
Organically grown alpine herbs blended with other natural ingredients. Ricola, natural herb cough drops from Switzerland.
She's a heartbreaker.
What, no bubbles?
With the voice of Diane Keaton. Hello, baby. What a set of paws. He's a homewrecker. With the voice of Danny DeVito.
I never want to say you again.
Well, be tough. I live here. Now, they're part of the family.
I like the ring of that.
That has everyone talking.
Yes!
John Travolta, Kirstie Alley. Look who's talking now.
Mongrel. What a socket.
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, November 5th at a theater near you.
Can you keep a secret? I had some help making these fabulous potatoes. Lipton Recipe Secrets Onion Soup Mix. A blend of toasted onions and seasonings.
For potatoes, I can't wait to get their hands on.
Lipton Recipe Secrets, the secret worth passing around.
Lucy Abney was depressed and needed help solving a family problem. Like a lot of people, she turned to therapy in the hope she would find some answers. Lucy trusted her doctors and believed what they had to say. But she now feels that was a mistake. As Lyndall Marks reports, Lucy may be an ordinary wife and mother, but there is nothing ordinary about what she's been through.
The girls were in school. They were active at school. We were very active in our church. I was working. My husband was working. We thought we were living a very normal life.
But over the course of the past 2 years, Lucy Abney's life could be described as anything but normal. She's been diagnosed with multiple personality disorder, lost custody of her 2 daughters, and became totally convinced that she had been an active member of a satanic cult. Lucy says her ordeal started with a single phone call from the school guidance counselor, news that would send any parent over the edge. Catherine, her 14-year-old daughter, had tried to commit suicide.
I didn't know how to reach her. I didn't know how to help her. I didn't know what to do for her.
Lucy became more and more depressed and decided to seek professional help.
The therapists and the doctors were the experts, and I believed them. I trusted them. I put my life in their hands.
Desperate, looking for answers, and heavily medicated, the 42-year-old mother with no history of mental illness claimed she emerged from therapy believing that not only she, but her entire family were cult members.
There were memories of rituals where babies were sacrificed, where I was forced to consume human flesh.
Lucy alleges that her therapists encouraged her to call the Houston office of the Children's Protective Services.
They said the children were in danger and I was in danger. I gave them my name, and I told them that I was a multiple personality and that I had just learned that I was involved in a satanic cult.
Lucy and her daughter Catherine were admitted to Spring Shadows Glen, a private psychiatric hospital in Houston. 1 week later, Lucy's younger daughter Karen, also with no history of mental problems, was admitted for observation on her 13th birthday.
According to the therapist, the 13th birthday is highly significant, especially for female children that are involved in a cult. And she would not have been safe.
L.T. Abney, Lucy's husband and the girl's stepfather, was devastated. He was left alone to sift through the hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills while fighting serious doubts about his family's diagnosis.
And instead of getting any better, it went to hell and back. And still going. They hadn't come back yet.
And after I left the hospital and got away from the therapy and the therapists and the hospital environment and drastically cut back on medication, my head began to clear up and I started thinking rationally and clearly again.
Today, Lucy believes those horrifying memories were nothing more than fantasy, encouraged by the very therapists she went to for help. She now blames them for the systematic destruction of her entire family, and she's decided to take legal action.
Catherine was in the hospital for about 10 months. Karen was in the hospital maybe 2 weeks less than 10 months. I was in the hospital from the 13th of February of 92 till the 1st of February of 93.
Lucy says her release date was significant. In a legal claim citing insurance fraud, she says she was discharged when her health benefits were about to run out. The Abneys allege they were misdiagnosed by doctors that may have been more interested in money than mental health.
I came to realize that it was a big, huge lie, and that I had wasted 2 years of my life.
The Abneys are one of 3 families suing Dr. Judith Peterson, the renowned psychologist formerly associated with Spring Shadows Glen. While Spring Shadows Glen would not comment, Dr. Peterson calls the accusations lies.
I can say that we in our field, in my field, do not implant memories in people's heads. We don't know how to.
Larkin Aiken represents the Schwiderski family, who also have filed a lawsuit against Dr. Peterson. Incredibly, their claims almost mirror that of Lucy and her family.
One daughter was in for over 2 years. The other daughter was in for around 3 years. The son was in a hospital or hospitals for about 3 or 4 years.
In their lawsuit, the Schwiderskis claimed that they, like the Abneys, were also conveniently released when the insurance money ran out.
We had a family who led completely normal lives up until someone decided that there was money to be made off treating them for an abuse that did not exist.
Dr. Peterson, seen here in a video training program, denies any wrongdoing and claims the families that are suing her are the ones really out for money.
I'm hoping that someone out there will begin to realize what's going on, because therapists across the country are being charged with putting memories in people's heads, and they are not doing that.
Despite the allegations, Dr. Peterson continues treating patients. Meanwhile, Lucy's daughters, Karen and Catherine, are still convinced they were involved in a cult and remain in custody of the state. Lucy has not seen them in 7 months and is fighting to get them back.
I love them. I miss them both terribly. And that I want more than anything to have them back.
Well, the court will determine next month if Lucy can get her children back. And there's been a strange twist to our story since it first aired. David Muse, who had been searching for his long-lost sister for 12 years, was watching A Current Affair, and yes, he recognized Lucy Abney as his sister, and the two have since been reunited. Now, some people with a jaw disorder called TMJ are trying to get their lives back after suffering through what was supposed to be a miracle cure.
They have destroyed my life.
And later, we'll take a look at an ancient medical practice said to be changing the face of today's dangerous criminals.
It's one of these miracles I refer to.
For allergies that hurt, Benadryl Allergy Sinus Headache combines maximum strength relief for sinus pain and pressure with the histamine blocker, Benadryl. Benadryl Allergy Sinus Headache from Park Davis.
Come on in, see what's new. Scissors got the softest hardware for you. We've got jumpers and cables, cotton and knit. Denim seat covers with a real comfy fit. New mixers and blenders, some toasters in wool. Our appliances will make you so beautiful. Things sure are changing round here. Come see the softer side of Sears.
Jane Powell for Pollinant.
I have a fresh solution for denture odor. Minty Double Action Polident. Each double action tablet controls denture odor and cleans even tough stains. Minty Double Action Polident, the fresh solution for denture odor.
How an operation that promised a cure caused a lifetime of pain. Next on Extra.
Most people already know that a GMC Jimmy comes with features that give it all the strength of a truck and all the ride and comfort of a car. But what you may not know is that right now, it also features a lease that's never been more comfortable. The all-new Jimmy 24-month lease. Get to know one today at your Delaware Valley GMC truck dealer.
Fran and Alice both have bad colds. Fran has a traditional health plan. She worries about the cost every time she sees her doctor for a routine exam, test, or lab work. Alice has Greater Atlantic. Her routine exams, tests, and lab work are covered. She never worries about the cost of seeing her doctor. Fran pays through the nose. Greater Atlantic, the coverage you need for 100% peace of mind. Ask your employer.
Dear Midas customers, now save 25% on brake shoes or pads, guaranteed for as long as you own your car. And we'll fix the brakes on most cars the same day you call. That's the Midas way, the way it should be.
And talk about the way it should be. Right now, Midas will give you 25% off brake shoes or pads. And with your 25% off, you'll also get a free oil change, a free lube, and a free filter. But you better hurry. This offer ends soon.
Did you know some heart attacks never cause chest pain? Jefferson has developed a 40-page guide to help you recognize symptoms of cardiac problems and to find quality in your treatment and care. What's interesting is it discusses what to look for when you're choosing your cardiologist and hospital for treatment. It contains statistics confirming Jefferson's quality, as well as practical advice on prevention. To receive your free copy, call 1-800-JEFF-NOW.
Fortunately, pain is something we quickly forget after it passes. But when we're in severe pain that just won't go away, we're usually prepared to do almost anything to fix the problem. Well, the people you're about to meet believe their absolute torment from a condition called TMJ would end after one man's promise of a miracle cure. It's a decision they will never forget. Robin Dorian reports.
Music was my life, playing was my life.
In the early 70s, violinist Andrea Powell had it all. Talent, beauty, and 2 hit albums. One, a soundtrack for the major motion picture, The Baby Maker.
How hard is it for you to have lost your career as a violinist? Sometimes it's devastating.
Today, it is nearly impossible for Andrea to play the music she was once so passionate about. In the past 9 years, Andrea has had 11 oral surgeries and now lives with a disfigured jawbone and constant, excruciating headaches.
You think if you had a gun, blow your brains out? I mean, it gets to that point where you can't even be rational.
Andrea's source of severe discomfort is due to what was supposed to be a wonder cure, a simple answer to a common jaw disorder that affects over 100,000 Americans, known as TMJ, temporomandibular joint syndrome. It strikes the point where the lower jaw is connected to the skull, and those who are afflicted not only deal with unbearable pain, but often cannot even open and close their mouths.
I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't do anything.
In 1983, a chemical engineer named Charles Holmesy invented what he thought was a miracle cure for TMJ, a synthetic jaw implant. Many oral surgeons here in Tucson, as well as around the country, began using the product. Now, some of those surgeons, and even more, the patients, think that Holmesy is a monster, and the product, a disaster.
Well, I think Dr. Holmes ought to be put in jail. That's my personal feeling.
TMJ specialist Dr. Stephen Harkins is on a self-appointed crusade against Holmesy. He removed dozens of the tiny thumbnail-sized implants after they began shattering in patients' jaws, something he describes as a medical catastrophe.
It became very obvious in 1984 and 85 that there were big problems with this material.
Why didn't they stop putting it in?
I'm not sure. I really don't know the answer to that. My own opinion is that it's a combination of greed, of deceit and deception, and ego.
It was also big bucks. Oral surgeons around the country were charging between $8,000 to $12,000 to put in Holmesy's implant, known as Proplast.
When you total up the operations and all of the money you've put into this, how much would you say it was, estimate?
I don't know as far as a figure. I just know it's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Pat Hudson says she's had 10 surgeries in the last 14 years. Her discomfort is now so great, she can no longer maintain a job.
It's not just the money. It's my life. My whole life has changed. I lost my husband. I lost my home. I lost my job. I lost my sense of productivity. And I lost my face.
Pat was never warned of any possible side effects, such as the pain, the disfigurement, the breaking down of the immune system, and the problems with eating. Like so many others who share her misery, she feels like she was a guinea pig.
I know that things were done to me on an experimental basis, and they used me in order to make it work, to see if it could work. They have destroyed my life.
Betty Jean Meyer says before her 4 surgeries, she and her husband lived a fairy tale life.
We had decided that we were going to start trying for children. We had money. We had more money than we could spend. We would put money away. You know, everything was perfect.
Now the fairy tale has turned into a horror story. Betty Jean's days are documented by the amount of drugs she uses to ease her suffering.
Spend the rest of your time deciding if you're going to make it to your next medication. 70% of my free time I spend in that room right there, with the drapes drawn, with the room as dark as I can get it, with no sound. Why? Because the pain is overwhelming.
The pain is so overwhelming that victims who have these implants often consider taking their own lives.
Have you contemplated suicide? Oh, absolutely. I've planned it.
Alan Fraze lost his battle with the pain. In 1990, he died from what was ruled an accidental overdose. His widow thinks his body could no longer handle the drugs Alan needed to combat the debilitating discomfort after his 3 surgeries.
We went into that first surgery with nothing but high hopes, and it's a piece of cake. You know, 3 days I'll be out and the pain will be gone.
The pain lasted 8 years, and Alan eventually became addicted to the painkillers.
I feel now that Alan is probably better off dead than to have to go through that. And that's a sad thing to say, but he's not hurting anymore.
If the Proplast implant is so destructive, how was it ever approved?
Why was it never tested? Why were they able to put it in?
There are loopholes in the FDA regulations, at least there were at that time, allowing surgeons to custom-make implants for patients. And as long as an implant is custom-made, it doesn't need FDA approval.
Ever since Holmesy's minute product became an enormous biomedical calamity, he's left the country, leaving oral surgeons to defend their honor.
Dr. Holmesy didn't test the material. And that if he had tested it, it would never have gotten into the hands of surgeons.
Keep in mind that this surgeon, Dr. John Kent, owned 1% of Holmesy's company Vitech and received commission on every TMJ product sold, reportedly $50,000 a year.
I did help promote the product in the early years when it was being used in great numbers around the United States. But since that time, I've been very quick to denounce the material.
In 1990, Holmesy's company went bankrupt, leaving little financial compensation for the victims who sue him. And though he faces more than 2,000 negligence claims here, it is believed Holmesy has taken his product to Europe and is now selling it there.
Proplast is reinforced forms of Proplast that we talked about. Who's manufacturing Proplast at this time? The company here in Switzerland.
We tried to speak with Holmesy at his office in Switzerland.
Leave this office. You're illegally in a building of business. Now leave.
Sir, you can't run away from your responsibilities.
I sure will. Get out of here now, or I'll break your damn machine. Now get out.
I think the man is dishonest, and I think eventually he's going to get caught. Or worse.
It makes me really, really angry. Really angry. I trusted them. Everybody else trusted them. You know, they're supposed to help people, not destroy them.
Well, you can't be too careful when people start talking about miraculous cures. And if experimental surgery is involved, the experts say, get a second opinion. The ancient method of acupuncture has a lot of New Age followers. Up next, we'll meet the toughest group of people to go under the pin.
I'm here for sexual molesting my daughter.
Plus, we'll see how some of the quickest hands in the West turn card tricks into big bucks.
A lot of it is that high of beating the casino at their own game.
And we'll show you the latest way to find the man of your dreams. You might call it the Book of Love.
I found John in the very last edition that I had.
Write down this phone number, then put it in your car. Because if you're ever seriously injured in a car accident, you can call this number 24 hours a day. Be in touch with the law offices of Manchell, Lundy, and Lesson. We have more than 30 years of experience, and no one will work harder for you. So if you are ever seriously hurt in a car accident, we're able to take so much of the pain out of recovering what's legally yours. Write down this number. Put it in your car. Oh, and give it to someone you love.
Before you choose a shop to paint your car, ask a few questions. What about their work?
Can they deliver a factory finish for only $189?
Or is it just another repaint? Can they get you rolling again fast, no hassles, and do they have a solid nationwide guarantee?
How does Mako do all this for as little as $189?
Easy. There are over 400 of us, Mako owners backing you up coast to coast. When it's time to paint your car, make it easy, make it right, make it Mako.
You know how it feels. The sore throat, the painful cough, the stuffy nose. Come to the halls of medicine for the vapor action formula of Hall's Mentholyptus cough tablets. Hall's vapor action will soothe your sore throat, stop that cough, and make your stuffy nose feel clearer. Just remember, the only place you'll find Hall's trademark vapor action is in the halls of medicine.
What was I looking for in a new car? Are we rolling yet? Something gorgeous, sporty, fun to drive with lots of room. It's a 94 Grand Am, and it's great. I love it. Should I say Pontiac Grand Am? What was I looking for? Safety features. It has standard anti-lock brakes and an airbag. The Grand Am is real affordable. With Pontiac Smart Drive, it's $229 a month. What was I looking for? I guess I wanted everything, so I got the Grand Am.
See the new 94 Grand Am, now just $229 a month with a Pontiac Smart Drive.
A new prison therapy that has inmates on pins and needles. Next on Extra.
You never saw it coming. A bad cold was hitting Scotty hard. Time for Vapor Rub.
That's not Vapor Rub.
It's new Vapor Rub cream. Smell the vapors? First, we rub it on your chest and
neck.
Feel it working? Vapor Rub's medicated vapors start to work instantly, clearing stuffy noses and quieting coughs. And see, it's not greasy. So the next day, if you're feeling that much better, maybe you should go to school. New Greaseless Vicks Vapor Rub cream. Breathe the vapors, breathe the relief.
Boy, they sure love you, but they really love you when you get peanut butter and Ritz crackers. Just for me?
Made them just for you. Nice things happen when you share a Ritz. Get closer. Put a Ritz between you.
You've got a sore throat, a painful cough, a stuffy nose. Give them the trademark vapor action of Hall's Mentholyptus cough tablets and feel better fast. Hall's vapor action, only in the halls of medicine.
The ancient Chinese practice of acupuncture has slowly and successfully been adopted by the Western world. It's a procedure that's proved valuable for everything from tennis elbow to the relief of stress. But can it really help men locked up for some of the most violent crimes you can imagine? Cynthia Fagan has the story.
Chances are that after a bloody prison riot like this, rebellious inmates would wind up disciplined in solitary. But at this Minnesota prison, tough guys who need an attitude adjustment go somewhere else. So don't get in their way. They've literally got a few things on their mind. Here at the Lino Lakes Correctional Facility, some of Minnesota's toughest inmates are all pins and needles, and they like it like that. They're undergoing the ancient Chinese art of acupuncture, and they say that it's helping them go straight, and they say it's helping them stay that way.
This is a new way of life for me. I've never
been able to be this calm.
Have you had a headache before when you walked into the acupuncture?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do 3 or 4 near ears each, and then I'll do some treatment for the forehead and this area.
This is Uli Bayendorf, a certified acupuncturist who sticks it to his dozen inmate patients 3 times a week.
Ray has been coming for treatment for about 1 month. He came in initially with concerns such as cravings, anger, headaches. He had a car accident years ago from which you can still see the scar. And ever since the accident, he has been trouble with pounding, severe headaches.
Ray, how do you feel?
Relaxed, my headaches are gone.
Just like that?
Yeah, before they were pounding, I was sitting here and my head was going at it. I couldn't wait till he stuck the needles in me, actually. Felt a lot better.
Ray is trying to beat his own drug addiction. The acupuncture helps stop his craving by redirecting his own energy.
So what I'm trying to do here is restore his energy flow in a way that is more conducive to regular life here or outside of the facility later on.
Even for the experts, acupuncture works in mysterious ways.
Acupuncture deals with the body, with the mind of the person, and with the soul of the person. It has in some unknown way, it has a way of combining those 3 and making them a better functioning unit.
It's amazing. These tiny needles might make the difference between bursts of violence like this or peaceful prisoners. The acupuncture treatments are helping these hardcore felons to mellow out, help control their drug addictions, and even more incredibly, it is being used in the treatment of sex offenders. What's your offense?
My offense is a sex offense.
Can you just elaborate a little bit more?
I'm here for sexual molesting my daughter, and it's been very difficult for me being here and dealing with and taking ownership of what I've done wrong.
The acupuncture treatment, how is that helping you cope with your own sexual crime?
I think it's a real benefit to deal with stress. I really do. Despite the problems on the side, I think this would be beneficial to anyone with stressful problems.
Uli, can acupuncture help sex crime offenders?
Working with Mark, this urge, there's this drive, there is this thing that he has a hard time controlling. Acupuncture will help lower that fire so there's less of an urge.
It all goes back to those wise Chinese doctors 2,000 years ago. But it took Greg Kraft, director of the Lino Lakes prison program, only a few years to implement this New Age idea.
Originally, many people in the Department of Corrections in the medical field, Western medicine, looked at acupuncture and Eastern medicine as primitive, hocus pocus, mystical, a scam or a sham. And now I think some are changing their minds.
The acupuncture treatment is so cheap it costs less than $5 per session and has a success rate that can't be beaten.
Of the approximately 70 participants in acupuncture over the last couple of years, those who have been released that have completed the acupuncture program, I haven't seen anybody come back.
He's known as the House, but Freddie Whitehouse served 12 years in prison. The first time out on parole, he couldn't cut it and got busted a short time later for selling drugs to an undercover cop.
Well, I didn't really believe in this at first myself, but since I've been doing it since 91. It ain't did nothing but help me. I mean, it just did a 360. And some of the things they brought over here, I wasn't really in tune with that, and I was stressing a little bit around here, like, being aggressive towards people I didn't know. And, it brought me back, kind of mellowed me out.
It's such a turn of events to see a big, hostile, normally tense guy get acupuncture needles, and within 10 or 15 minutes is snoring in the corner and relaxed.
And there are some 500 prisoners being treated with acupuncture every day in 25 correctional facilities around the country. Well, we've got a few dangerous men on the dance floor coming up, and it's not because of their moves.
Chunkandales got to be over 200 pounds. They need a lot of food.
And we'll tell you why you don't want to roll the dice with these guys.
So where are the legitimate dice?
They're actually thrown into a pocket inside my jacket. In this case...
That's good.
She celebrates the grand opening of our newest store, Sheehy Ford in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, with our biggest ever tag sale. Over $1,200 in combined savings on new Ford Taurus. Escorts tagged for under $10,500. Save on town cars, Sables, Villagers, everything, and no hassles. All prices are clearly marked on tags like these. Wherever you live, you're just minutes away from tag savings on over 6,000 vehicles at all 5 Sheehy locations. Unless one of these emblems is on your car or truck, you probably paid too much.
Many cities in America have thousands of doctors. Let's say there are 10,000 where you live. How can you find the one doctor who's right for you?
Let's say in this case you're looking for an OBGYN. I can put a code in for that. That brings the figure down to 231. I can search for a doctor who does prenatal care and delivery. That brings the number down to 193. Say someone who works with high-risk patients. We're down to 177. The next thing I do is put in your zip code to find doctors who are close to you. In this case, 31 doctors in your part of town. Of these 31 doctors, 17 work with your insurance. I can look for someone who has weekend or extended office hours, and that brings us down to 8 doctors. Let's say you also want a doctor who has an obstetric ultrasound actually in the office, and that would bring us to 3 doctors. And that's just getting us started. We have about a 20-page biography on each one of them. And the best thing is the service is free, the call is free. What better way could there be to find a doctor?
Call 1-800-DOCTORS.
KYW3 was the first to provide closed captioning in our newscast to the over 300,000 hearing-impaired viewers in the Delaware Valley.
And teamed with U.S. Healthcare, our commitment to keep you informed continues to grow. KYW3 is the only place you can turn for live, up-to-the-minute, real-time closed captioning.
When news breaks, you'll know about it. Only KYW can guarantee that.
Closed captioning for the news tonight is brought to you by a grant from U.S. Healthcare.
When people go to Las Vegas, there is usually one thing on their minds: winning, and winning big with the roll of the dice or the turn of the roulette wheel. Now, to win, we need more than a little bit of luck. But if the deck is stacked and in the hands of a card shark, you're going to need more than luck. Steve Dunleavy sat down with some players who it might just pay to keep your eyes on.
America's most notorious bandit, Willie Sutton, was once asked by the cops, "Why do you rob banks?" He simply responded, "Well, that's where the money is." Well, today, this is where the money is. But in Vegas, the Willie Suttons, they don't carry guns. They're more likely to carry a big IQ, a fat diploma, and of course, a massive ego.
These are the 5 casinos we hit. Sahara River.
The Rat Pack is planning to heist 5 Vegas casinos in the movie Ocean's 11. They fail miserably. But if they had Steve Forte on their team, they would have needed a supertanker to haul away the loot. Steve Forte is one of 3 horsemen of the apocalypse. Jim Payne and Jim Keller are the other 2 guys.
It's an ego thing. And I guess everybody does it for different reasons. But yeah, a lot of it is that high of beating the casino at their own game.
Forte is talking about cheating. And what he, Keller, and Payne don't know about cheating, well, it ain't worth knowing.
Let it sit. It was never the money with me. It was always the freedom.
Forte, Keller, and Payne are poachers turned gamekeepers, former professional gamblers who now teach casinos like here at the Riviera how to catch a thief. Watch this and watch it closely. A blackjack game. Forte is dealt a jack and a 6. After the deal goes down, he mysteriously comes up with an ace and a jack. Blackjack. Let's watch the drop in slow motion. He used the drink of water to distract the dealer while switching an ace for the 6. Didn't see it? Let's go behind him to make it simple. There is the palmed ace, and there is the switch. Forte now takes us to the roulette table with his team. Keller on the right, playing with purple $25 chips. Forte on the left, playing with 25-cent chips. Payne playing with yellow 25-cent chips. But Payne has a secret stash of Keller's purple $25 chips. The scam? To put a large bet on after the winning number is announced. and make Keller the big winner. Now, watch. 40 distracts the dealer by pretending to place a late bet. The dealer catches him.
Sir, you're too late. Number 36.
36 is the winner, but let's see it again. 40 has blocked the dealer's view of Payne at the end of the table as he places his chips on 36 after the winning number is announced. The 3 split the loot.
It's basically a perpetual cat and mouse game. But I think as an industry, we have pushed the level of skill that's needed to cheat these games to a level that's so high that if you beat the games now illegally, you're probably a very, very talented cheater, very, very sophisticated.
Next to the crap table, with 40's little bag of tricks, loaded dice.
Craps can be a potentially dangerous game. There's a lot of interesting things that happen in a crap game that make scamming the game easier than most people would think.
For the purposes of the viewer, the red dice are legitimate and the blue dice are loaded. 40 makes his play to switch the dice.
Into the pocket, but with the clean hand.
So where are the legitimate dice?
They're actually thrown into a pocket inside my jacket. In this case...
That's good. 40 now works with his partner, Jim Payne. 40 throws a single die and palms the other, while his partner, using the cover of putting on a bet, lays down a single die with a 6 showing upwards to increase the odds. But it's young whiz kids that are really increasing the odds.
For example, there's a lot of kids that worked in the space shuttle and space programs who are very talented. When it comes to the electronics, they're all out of work right now.
Which brings us to 40's very expensive collection of cheating computers, designed by some of those kids. Ones that are worn on the thigh, wrist, and even in a sneaker with toes working the buttons.
Solenoid there.
Like old-fashioned Morse code. This one is a hand-operated card counter. Ideal, the computer counts the cards and even spits out instructions on how to handle the play through an earpiece.
5-0, last deck. Says play 5 hands, don't take any hit cards, the dealer will bust.
My education complete, I bid Steve 40 farewell at the Riviera Hotel.
I can't thank you enough for showing me all your tricks. My pleasure. Have a nice day. Stevie, is this yours?
You son of a gun, get out of here! What is the time now? I guess it's time to say, see you later.
Well, Steve, you might have to go, but we've still got good tricks, Steve. You're learning fast. Now, you've probably heard of horses being exercised, but how about exorcised? I'm telling you, it's the truth.
Adonai.
Find out how one man's putting the fear of the devil in racehorses. Next.
Did you know some heart attacks never cause chest pain? Jefferson has developed a 40-page guide to help you recognize symptoms of cardiac problems and to find quality in your treatment and care. What's interesting is it discusses what to look for when you're choosing your cardiologist and hospital for treatment. It contains statistics confirming Jefferson's quality, as well as practical advice on prevention. To receive your free copy, call 1-800-JEFF-NOW.
Become a member of our family by becoming a member of the Philadelphia Zoo. Individual memberships start as low as $30 with benefits including free admission and parking at the zoo for 1 full year. The real value of a zoo membership, however, is your support of the zoo's efforts to save rare and endangered animals. For more information on how you can become a member of America's first zoo, call us. Become a member of the Philadelphia Zoo. It's fun by nature all year long.
Your teeth aren't flat, are they? Of course not. If they were, a flat brush would be ideal. But since your teeth are shaped like this, we designed our brush like this. Introducing Crest Complete. Your dentist uses special instruments that get between teeth. Crest Complete gets between too, up to 37% farther than the leading flat bristle brush. So to help maintain a dentist clean at home, get new Crest Complete. Only Crest could make a brush this complete.
Tomorrow's medical news, antioxidants. Antioxidant vitamins in food help strengthen your body's natural defenses against cell damage. Centrum includes the complete antioxidant group. Centrum, more complete than any leading brand. And now, more important than ever.
How do I feed my hungry family?
Introducing Home-Style Hamburger Helper. Try new Salisbury with home-cooked pasta in a rich, hearty sauce. New Home-Style Hamburger Helper.
Well, Well, Kate Moss, the Twiggy of the 90s, move over. The Chunkandales are back in town. And meet a man who really knows how to exorcise a horse. It's all in this week's A Current Affair History. He's the answer to every jockey's prayer. A man who says he can make horses run faster than they ever have before.
I expect the horse will run 3 to 6 lengths faster.
Dr. Mitchell Bedford, doctor as in witch doctor, performs exorcisms on thoroughbred horses.
Great God of gods, banish from this horse any problems that it might have with lawless spirits that interfere with its ability to do its function.
When we first brought you this story back in 1991, Dr. Bedford had been cleansing horse hooves in Lexington, Kentucky for a good 4 years.
Yahweh.
So where do these galloping ghosts go after a run-in with Dr. Bedford?
Sometimes I might send them over to Saddam Hussein or somebody like that, but depends on how ornery I am at any given time.
Well, I guess if it means faster horses, it's worth it, right? But who are we to judge? What's most important is what the horse owners think.
It certainly can't do any harm, and who knows, maybe in 3 years one of these horses can win the Kentucky Derby.
Well, we have one more year to wait and see if that prediction comes true or whether Dr. Bedford is just horsing around.
This horse is clean.
Now here's a group of guys who really go to the fullest extent to show that thin isn't always in. They may not have the toned tan bods like some of us, but they sure are tons of fun. And believe me, they have quite a following. The group, better known as the Chunkandales, originated in Albuquerque, New Mexico. There are 6 fabulous flabby members, and they take their blubber very seriously.
Chunkandales got to be over 200 pounds and eat a lot of food and look ugly.
The fact that they are confident enough to get out there and do that, have enough self-confidence, makes them attractive. They're really neat.
Give it up for the Chunkandales!
Well, sorry, girls, but the original Chunkandales have disbanded, but we're told there are plenty of lookalikes around the country. As for the horse exorcist, well, if you're interested, he charges $100 a visit. Have you been looking for love in all the right places but still can't find it? Terrible problem, isn't it? But not anymore.
This was a new way for me to get out and actually find someone who really wanted a relationship.
Snuggle up with your Bachelor book when we come back.
For allergies that hurt, Benadryl Allergy Sinus Headache combines maximum strength relief for sinus pain and pressure with the histamine blocker, Benadryl. Benadryl Allergy Sinus Headache from Park Davis.
The only difference between these eggs and our eggs is, oh yeah, ours don't have any fat or cholesterol. Egg beaters. We're good eggs.
Years ago, I took Tylenol for tough headaches, but sometimes it didn't get rid of all the pain. Back then, my doctor prescribed some medicine that really helped. The same medicine I can get non-prescription strength in Advil. For my tough headaches, 2 Advil work better than 2 Tylenol gel caps. Nowadays, when a tough headache starts, I take what works better for me, Advil. Maybe you do get smarter with age.
And for a cold, try Advil Cold and Sinus, advanced formula for the cold season.
Well, I don't think any of us really know who wrote the Book of Love. But as far as some women looking for love are concerned, it's Mindy Rudin. She's put together a classy collection of eligible men, a dossier designed for the women of America still looking for Mr. Right. Now, ladies, with this magazine, the man of your dreams may be waiting on the very next page. Robin Dorian reports.
There used to be a simpler time when a boy and girl met, fell in love, and then married.
aren't so easy, so people are finding a more creative way to find a mate.
I found John in the very last edition that I had. I actually had the subscription for 1 year.
Connie Howe is telling how she met her husband, John. Tired of the single scene, Connie subscribed to the ultimate mail order catalog to find a man.
This was a new way for me to get out and actually find someone who really wanted a relationship.
You see, Connie responded to John's ad in the Bachelor book, a magazine for the marriage-minded, a more personal ad.
The first time I wrote John was in October of 1992, and the reason I wrote to him is because he was a nice guy.
Overall, John received about 100 letters, but it was Connie he decided to call.
When I spoke with Connie, I knew, that she pretty much was the one.
After a week of talking to each other, we knew we were going to get married.
How was your day today?
After a month of romantic long-distance phone dates, Connie, who lived in South Dakota, and John, who lived in Tampa, decided to meet.
So I actually am flying to meet the man I'm going to marry for the first time, and it was just so nice actually seeing the person that I've gotten to know so well.
And just 3 months after their first phone call, Connie and John were married. Twice. First they had a private ceremony, and then they're married on Canadian television.
If I met the world of my dreams, that would be an opportunity that most guys don't get twice in a lifetime.
Paul Portugal is hoping he'll also find love by posing on the pages of the Bachelor book.
I would like to indulge in a relationship that will be lifelong.
The problem is, this 25-year-old with the hot bod was the centerfold for the magazine's special swimsuit issue.
Some of the letters were a bit too forward. I happened to get a lot of skin pictures. I happened to get a lot of interesting cards with a lot of suggestive notes. It was flattering and at the same time disgusting.
He's looking for someone, the girl next door, and, in entered Linda Lovelace in his mailbox.
Mindy Rudin is the woman behind the Bachelor book.
We think it's very old-fashioned and it's very nice. We present different men in a very straightforward format. We don't embellish them. We don't say anything that's not true.
And for all the women who say all the good ones are taken, take a look at Tracy Keyes. This successful model hopes Miss Right will answer his ad.
You're not in the same city or the same area on a regular basis. You're always jumping here, jumping there. So a relationship is really hard to stick with.
We're talking to Sleepless in Seattle.
You called the radio station?
And if you thought little matchmakers only exist in movies like Sleepless in Seattle, meet Aaron Anton, the magazine's youngest bachelor. He and his father, Mitch, placed a bio together.
I received, I'd say about 5 letters, and I think I wrote them all back.
He was in the book. Only because I want people to know from the get-go that I have a son. I'm not hiding it. I'm proud of him.
Aaron and Mitch do almost everything together, including going out on dates.
It takes someone very brave to go out with us, especially the both of us on the same time.
So what if you find love in a book? You find love in a bar, you find love, it's never going to replace grabbing the same grapefruit with someone in the supermarket, but it's another avenue.
I guess when it happens to you, you will know, because when you find that soulmate, it all works.
When used car salesman Ronnie Lamarck wanted to trade in his wife Carmela for a newer model, she got mad. But did she get even?
Her world unraveled, and she unraveled with it.
We'll have that story and much more Monday on A Current Affair. Well, that wraps up our show for this week, coming to you from what's left of our old set. From Monday on, it's a fresh new look on A Current Affair. We hope you can join us. We'll leave you with Robert Plant's latest video, I Believe. I'll see you next weekend on Extra. Till then, be nice to each other. Bye-bye.
Tears from your mother, from the pits of her soul. Look at your father, see his blood run cold. Like the wind
people already